Manchester United reportedly likely to sack Erik ten Hag, Nagelsmann blow, and all of your latest transfer news on this morning's show. But before we jump into that, please smash a like on today's video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight on into it. So as always, here on Daily Red Devil, I like to start the show off with some positivity. It's Friday, it is the weekend, but it is also Kobbie Mainoo's birthday. So big ups to Kobbie Mainoo, absolute legend, love him. 19 years of age today. That's just, honestly, that's so mad, isn't it? So mad. He's only 19 today. He's been 18 for like the whole last season, playing all of these games in the Prem, putting in those unbelievable performances. So happy birthday to Kobbie Mainoo. Hopefully this is the start of an incredible career at Manchester United. I'm really hopeful, whilst also trying to keep expectations realistic. He is going to make mistakes. You know, that's just football. So we've got to get behind him. If he has a bad game, support him, you know, and not be throwing hate at him because maybe he has a bad game once in a while. But keeping on the topic of Kobbie Mainoo, I wanted to bring in some more positivity, actually. And apparently an agreement between Manchester United and Kobbie Mainoo over a new contract is now very close. Apparently Kobbie Mainoo will receive a pay increase. Now, obviously, he completely deserves that. He really, really does. Apparently, he's going to earn somewhere around £60,000 a year, which, sorry, a week, not a year. That would be hardly anything for a footballer. £60,000 a week. Apparently, at the moment, he earns about $10,000 a week. So his wages is going up by what, 6 times? Which seems like a lot, but when you compare that with the rest of the squad, it's really not that significant in the grand scheme of things. You know, when you think of Casemiro's on 350 grand a week and Kobbie Mainoo will be on 60, you know, like you've got to be realistic here. Christian Eriksen barely played this season. He's on 150k a week. Scott McTominay, bench player, 60 grand a week. Garnacho, 60 grand a week. So he's going to be in and around that level, you know, around the kind of wages that, you know, a Garnacho or a Rasmus Højlund's earning. And that's where our wage bracket should really be, because the fact that people like Harry Maguire are on £200,000 a week, and then you've got Rashford, Varane and Casemiro all on 300 plus a week, it's stupid. So I'm glad that Man United are being realistic. They're not throwing crazy money at somebody who could turn into a world-class player or might not. You know, there still is that possibility. But let me know. Are you excited about Kobbie Mainoo? I'm sure you all are. Right, let's move over to talking about the manager. So the big bit of breaking news coming out this morning, and this has been confirmed by various different sources over in Germany, tier 1 sources, is that Nagelsmann is apparently going to sign a new contract at the German national team. So for anybody who's unaware of Nagelsmann's situation, his contract is due to expire after the Euros, which is in, 2 months, this summer. And the headline this morning is that Julian Nagelsmann will now sign a new contract till 2026 at the German national team and will not be the coach of Bayern. Now, I know most people had kind of come to terms with the fact that Nagelsmann was going to go to Bayern and we weren't going to get him anyway. But this is the final nail in the coffin. He's rejected Bayern Munich and he's going to stay at Germany, the German national team. So he's 100% not coming to United. Whether you want him or not is a whole nother conversation. The reason I'm bringing this up, because my stance has always been, I want Erik ten Hag to stay. But if Erik ten Hag was to be removed, I thought the only person who was available at this current moment was Nagelsmann, who I liked. I don't really like any of the other options. I don't like Potter. I don't like Southgate. I don't really want Tuchel. I don't want Mourinho. I don't want, you know, Conte. Like, none of them really excite me. And whereas Nagelsmann did excite me alongside Zidane, but Zidane was obviously never going to come. But yeah, so I mean, that's the nail in the coffin for that one. Nagelsmann will not be coming to Manchester United. He probably wasn't going to come anyway, because if he was going to go anywhere, he was going to go to Bayern Munich. But we would have still been in that conversation. If Erik ten Hag was to get sacked, Nagelsmann was always going to be one of the names that we were linked to. But that's done. He's not coming to Man United, and he's not going to Bayern Munich. Keeping on the topic of managers, so Sky Sports this morning are reporting that it is increasingly likely that Manchester United will replace Erik ten Hag this summer, not this morning. What does everyone think about that? I don't really understand, because who are they going to replace him with? That's what I don't get. Nagelsmann was my number one option. He's not coming. Zidane's not coming. We don't want Southgate. We don't want Potter. Roberto De Zerbi, I think, is an interesting option, but he's got a release clause of £12 million that you'd have to pay Brighton, right? £12 million to get him from Brighton. You've then got to sack Erik ten Hag and all of his staff, and the compensation package is reportedly around 10 million. So if someone said to me, right, this summer, you pay £22 million effectively to get rid of Eric Ten Hag and bring in De Zerbi, when our budget's probably only going to be maybe 80 to 100. So we're going to spend effectively, a quarter of our budget on a manager, and then probably only have about £60 million left to play with, give or take maybe 10 million. Like, that doesn't sound good to me. I just don't understand that. De Zerbi did well at Brighton, but he's not really won anything in his career, has he? And like, when you actually look at De Zerbi's kind of recent track record, you look at Brighton's results, they are an attractive team and they play exciting football. They really, really do. But would the Man United fans accept losing 4-0 to Luton? Because Brighton did. Would the Man United fans accept, they've been stuffed by quite a lot of teams this season. You have to remember, and I just fear that, like, although he's that kind of trendy manager that everyone gets excited about, they got beat 4-1 by Luton. They got beat 4-0 by Luton. They got beat 6-1 by Aston Villa. They just got beat 3-0 by Arsenal. I mean, that's kind of fair. That's, a difficult game. They do have a bad loss in them, and that's because of the way that De Zerbi sets up the team. It's very attacking, and I fear that with this current set of players, De Zerbi's style of play won't work. It won't. I said this to my friend the other day, and he was laughing at me, but I honestly think that if Ineos want to keep as much of this squad as possible, which they might do, right? Say Ineos are like, we want to keep Maguire, we want to keep Rashford, we want to keep McTominay, we want to keep, Bruno, all of these people, right? Whether you want to keep them or not is up to you. But say that Ineos come in and say, we only need to sign a striker and a centre-back, and that's it. I honestly think that any of these attacking style coaches won't work with these set of players. I genuinely believe that. And I think that a more defensive-minded coach who parks the bus and hits on the counter would actually work. We saw it work with Ollie. He got back-to-back top four, which I know isn't an achievement, but considering how bad we've been this season and last season, and the season before that, he got back-to-back Champions League, right? Playing park the bus, and he hit them on the counter-attack with Bruno playing the balls over the top to Rashford and Greenwood and all the rest of it. And I honestly think that all of these managers that play this attractive style of football, they won't be able to do that with this set of players. So, unless De Zerbi comes in and literally gets rid of 80, 90% of these players and starts from fresh, I just think it will be the same as what we're seeing now. And that's why I think, sticking with Eric Ten Hag makes sense, because hopefully Ineos and Eric Ten Hag will speak with each other, and Eric Ten Hag will say, if you want to play this style of football, you need to get rid of these players. And that was hopefully what will happen. But you can let me know what you think in the comment section below. I will say this. I think if Eric Ten Hag, if Man United were to lose the game against Coventry, Coventry on Sunday, I think he'd be in big trouble. I think it'll be very, very difficult to come back from that, because, we are massive favourites to win that game. I know it's a semi-final. Anything can happen. You might get a dodgy refereeing decision. But still, if we were to lose against Coventry on Sunday, I don't think there'll be any way for him to come back. But I think we're going to win personally, but let's wait and see. Moving on from that, let's talk a little bit about transfer-related stuff. So David Ornstein is reporting this morning that if Michael Elise leaves Crystal Palace in the upcoming window, I expect it to only be for one of the Champions League clubs. So does that mean that we're out of the race for Elise? Apparently he's a Manchester United fan, Elise. Apparently he wants to join us. But now you've got a very reliable journalist who obviously reports for The Athletic saying that he only wants to join a Champions League club. We're not going to be in the Champions League. We'll be lucky to be in the Europa League. And apparently David Ornstein, sorry, not David Ornstein, another journalist this morning is saying that his release clause is actually closer to £60 million. Sorry, everyone. £60 million, which seems a hell of a lot of money for somebody whose injury record has been pretty poor this season. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit all over the place with, who would be the best signing. I think for me personally, I think Frimpong could do a better job in a right wing position than Elise. He's available for £34 million release clause. So that would be an interesting option. But let me know what you guys think. Who would you prefer, Elise or Frimpong? Obviously, Elise is a right winger. Frimpong plays as a right wing back, but does play very attacking. If you watch the West Ham Leverkusen game yesterday, he's a very, very attacking fullback, and he can play as a right winger as well. But let me know what you guys think below. Moving over to defensive targets. Apparently, Manchester United's number one defensive target is Bremer from Juventus. I'm not sure about Bremer. I don't know. I think he's a decent player. Apparently, they want £60 million for him. Apparently, there might be some sort of swap deal with Mason Greenwood. It's a hard one to work out, really, at this point. Obviously, Jean-Claire Todibo is the other name, but a reliable journalist this morning is saying that apparently Atletico Madrid have made Jean-Claire Todibo their #1 target this summer, and they would consider breaking the bank to bring him in. I mean, I can see Todibo going Atletico. They'll have Champions League football. There won't be any of these like question marks about are Ineos doing Manchester United a favour by selling him one of their players and all of that stuff. Like, it would be simple. I don't know. Who would you like to see, though? I mean, obviously, we'll have to wait and see who ends up being at the club. But if you had to pick between Todibo and Bremer, who would you go for? I would probably say Todibo, because I think, Todibo is going to be 30 to 40 million, whereas Bremer's supposedly 60 million. So that would be my take on it anyway. Moving over to the striker position, we've got an update on Benjamin Sesko for you all this morning. And the headline this morning is that apparently Man United, Chelsea and Arsenal are all interested in signing Benjamin Sesko this summer. He has a release clause of 42.7 million euros. I would love to see Sesko at United. I think he would be a quality addition, still very young, definitely has the potential to go on and be a world-class striker, I think. 20 years of age, has been doing quite well in the Bundesliga this season. For £42 million, I think he'd be a bargain. I really, really do. But as I said, there is a lot of competition. Arsenal need a striker. Chelsea need a striker. We obviously need a striker. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. The other person who we're being linked to heavily this morning is Evan Ferguson from Brighton. He would be an incredible signing, but the amount of money that Brighton are going to want is just stupid. They're going to want £100 million for him, which he's not worth that. I'm sorry. He just isn't. He could be worth that in a few years' time, but at the moment, is he really worth 100 million? He scored 6 goals in 27 games in the Premier League. If he's worth 100 million, right? Answer me this. If Evan Ferguson is worth 100 million after scoring 6 goals as a striker in the Premier League this season, then how much is Ollie Watkins worth? People are probably saying, why are you talking about Ollie Watkins? We don't want him. Ollie Watkins has got 19 goals this season and 10 assists. He's got 3 times the amount of goals and 10 more assists than Evan Ferguson. I mean, like, it's crazy. He's not worth 100 million. I'm sorry. He's probably worth 50, 60. He's probably worth the same amount of money as what Rasmus Højlund was worth when we bought him from Atalanta. I think that would be fair. But giving Brighton 100 million for Evan Ferguson is a massive risk. And I just don't think it's something Man United and Ineos will be willing to do when we need to sign probably 8 first-team players probably this summer, realistically. And that's obviously not going to happen. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that one. I think we need to sign someone for around 40 million. That's more realistic in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think below. I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me on the show this morning. If you have enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. This has been Daily Red Devil. I'll be back later on today at 6 o'clock. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll speak to you all soon.